Life is full of bullshit, and we're here to call it out. Real talk, raw truth, and plenty of spice. Welcome to She Who Thrives.
We're your hosts, Caitlin,
Mindy,
and Harrison.
Today we're just going to do a little vacation recap and just talk about what's going on in life.
We did try to film on vacation. We were supposed to have a special guest, but we didn't end up filming with that special guest on vacation because it would have just taken too much time and we didn't want to take time out of our vacation. So we did record while we were there, but we were outside. Obviously, we had a house full of adults that were loud and kids that were loud. So
and wind and
yeah, the outside didn't work. We tried. We put it up for like 2 seconds and then we took it down. So I guess recap.
We ended up leaving super early before everyone else because we were a little bit nervous that our kids...
Just them.
Yeah, just like me, my husband, our kids. Because we were nervous that the boys wouldn't do very good in the car because they've never traveled that far before, but they ended up doing really, really good. But we ended up getting to California, I think it was like 11, maybe 10 or 11. So we just like hung out, went to like a couple of different little places, but there was like no beach anywhere that we went. And so we were like, well, maybe there's going to be a beach closer to the house because it had said it was ocean views, right? So we're like, okay, it must be by the house. So we start driving to the house. It's about 20 minutes from where we were. And we get to the house and like, it was nice, but it was not like the photos at all. Like, they made it look like this glorious beach house that was like...
The pool was huge in the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that, but I guess it's same as girls making their asses look big in videos or something.
Yeah. So it was fine, but we ended up getting to the house at about 3:30 and we couldn't check in until 4. And we were just kind of walking around the outside and Brixton, of course, has to touch everything. And he like touched a door and like it just went wide open. And Adam was like, well, if it's unlocked, you guys can go in. And come to find out, like, all the doors were unlocked, all the windows were unlocked. Like, it really hadn't been cleaned.
I had seen a thing on the drive down there. I'm in this group from Costa Rica for our travels last year, and it was saying how people were breaking in the middle of the night while people were sleeping. They were coming through windows. They would leave windows unlocked. So when we got there, which I normally would not check a window, now I will check a window in every VRBO I stay in. But yeah, so I checked the windows. Every freaking ass window was open. The whole back of the house was glass, and the side of the house, yes, all glass, tons of sliding glass doors. They were all unlocked. The gate code didn't even work, so it was just open. Like,
anyone could have been sleeping with us.
Yeah, and Jet obviously is still crawling, so the top of his feet, his knees were black, and I was like, I always take my shoes off. I was like, I am not taking my shoes off in this house. Everyone, they're like, Mom, are you, because until bed, like I had my shoes on. They're like, are you going to leave them on? And I'm like, yeah.
It was gross.
So,
but they had vacuumed the carpet. Like when we got there, it looked like clean when you first enter because like there was carpet lines and like it looked clean until you started actually looking
here. Yeah. So we did end up calling them though, because I'm like, I hate to leave a bad review when
it's not really their fault.
It's not the owner's fault. I mean, the deceptive pictures, definitely. But yeah, like the cleanliness, that kind of stuff, you know, I feel like maybe people break things and they don't communicate with the owners. But so we did, Adam sent them an email and they actually sent a handyman out. He fixed all the doors. Oh yeah, we got locked in our master room, which the master room was ginormous. Mm-hmm. But once you shut the door, you were just like in there. I mean, it took, even Adam had a hell of a time getting out. And when the handyman came,
I was like, what is he doing? Because it was like double doors and they're just like shaking. And I'm like, what is going on in there?
When the handyman came, I was in the bedroom and I was like, yeah, and this door, you know, you locked in. So he shut it. And even when he was trying to open it, he was like, holy crap. I'm like, I told you you're like locked in there. But they were great about like fixing everything. And they sent cleaners out to mop the floors. And they said that they they had been told that there was problems with the cleaners. So, they were great about coming and taking care of stuff when we needed stuff. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, besides that, like, I think everyone had a great time. Like, the kids had a great time and the adults had a good time. Like, even Brady, Brady's in Iowa. And so him and his girlfriend flew and met us. But
Which is Adam's
boy.
only biological.
My bonus son. Anyway, he was like, I miss you guys so much already, the day they left. So I'm like, it's just, he's the oldest in his mom's side of the family. And so in our side of the family, he's the youngest. So that's kind of a different dynamic for him, but yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah.
We stayed busy with nothing really. I mean,
Pool, beach.
SeaWorld. Yeah.
It was perfect weather. Like, it wasn't, to us who live in St. George, 80s is amazing. 80s and 90s is great. So it was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was really nice
There were
weather.
days, like, you'd get hot if we were laying by the pool for too long, but it was good. And the water really wasn't that cold at the beach. I didn't think. Like, it was chilly at first, but it wasn't like freezing.
Yeah.
Kids start school this next week. I really don't know what to do with my legs. If you sit like this, it looks like two hot dogs in the camera.
Just cross them.
I had them crossed, but
So awkward.
All the kids kind of start at different times. Brooklyn and Nixon start this coming week, and then Brixton starts September, and Ava probably starts.
She'll start the same time as the kids.
oh, she does. Did you find her preschool?
Yeah, I just have to take like her documents in there tomorrow. So
Last night, Adam and I went on date night. We got invited to a soft opening for a new restaurant here called Back Porch. It was super good. Super cute vibe. Adam said because they interviewed us while we were there, Kenna did. And Adam's like, it's like a little bit of Tennessee right inside the mall.
is it in the mall?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's that right when you pull up to the mall, that
Where the
like
other
thing that sits outside. It's right there. So out there they have like fire pits and disco balls and stuff coming. So they'll do music. They'll do like line dancing a couple nights a week. And yeah, inside it's like, they play country music. It's really cute inside.
That is cute.
we need some good places here. We have like a few good restaurants, but we don't have a lot.
Well, that was what Royce was saying, the owner. He's like, we just wanted to bring because they've opened 3 restaurants just in the last year. But he's like, there's just no diversity when it comes to food here.
Mm-hmm.
We need some good places.
Did you watch that movie?
No.
Did you watch it?
No.
It wouldn't work when we turned it on.
On Peacock?
Yeah, the little rainbow dots.
Oh yeah,
They were just bumping.
We're talking about Obsession. I've seen a lot of people talking about it.
Is it supposed to be scary?
Yes. And I looked it up, and one night, I feel like Peacock plays a long preview. I felt like I watched the whole movie in the preview, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a little bit scary."
Well, it just kept doing that, and I was like, we're not supposed to watch it tonight. Let's watch something else. But I feel like I save shows because I'm not one to just go in and watch TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anytime we watch TV at night, he always has the freaking remote. So I was like, I feel like I save things. If I want to binge Love is Blind or something stupid like that, then I'll do it when he's hunting.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything better to do. So
What do you guys think about sports for kids that are, I'm trying to think of not club. Is it a club? Club sports?
Yeah. I just got Brooklyn and Nixon into one.
Or is it ones that aren't through the city? Traveling sports. That's what I'm thinking of, traveling sports. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I just signed both mine up, so.
But do you think
For
it's
what,
good for
soccer?
kids?
Mhm.
I think it can be, But I think that sometimes the parents, like, I think it's great. Like, if your kid is totally like, I want to play soccer, that's what I want to do, sign them up for the sport. But I feel like sometimes parents like it more than the actual kid does, and it like exhausts them.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Like, if Brixton, if I signed Brixton up for something and halfway through he's like, I want to stop, I'd be like, you know what? You're part of a team. You need to finish out the year. You don't have to do it next year. But I feel like there are a lot of parents that are like, nope, you're going to play football and you're going to play it until you hopefully get into college or whatever.
Well, I feel like that even comes back to like moms that wanted to be cheerleaders, and now they start their kids in cheer when they're 4 years old, and they're like living their life through their kids.
I know some pageant moms like that.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, if your kid loves it, great. I mean, I feel like the traveling leagues are usually so expensive.
Yeah.
And so it kind of sucks because those kids that can't afford to be in that kind of lack that the skills that they would gain from being in it for so long.
Disadvantage.
Yes, which is kind of sad. But yeah.
Kid he played on Brooklands soccer team and 2 years in a row. And the first year he did pretty good, and the second year he just had a horrible attitude. And then he played on Nixon's basketball team same year after, and he hated it. Like, he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to practice. He didn't want to play in the games. He just wanted to sit like on the bench, you know. And his dad even texted like in the group chat during games and would be like, "Coach, rotate the kids, blah 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 blah," and get all pissed off. And the coach is like, "Your son doesn't want to play."
Yeah.
Like, I've tried to put him in. He doesn't want to.
Right. And it's hard because when the parents are so pushy about that, and the kid doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, if your kid doesn't want to do that, do it. Why make them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, which I understand some parents want their kids to be in something like that for the discipline.
Right.
And to learn how to work on a team, you know, with a team. I understand those aspects of it. Or even like music, you know, like you want
But I
a kid
think
to do
city's
piano.
different.
And
Like, city's not as, like, city leagues are not as all the time. You have to do all this traveling. You have to be taken out of school. Like, I think that's different. Like, if you just want it for your kid to learn discipline and to learn how to be a teammate, I think that the city league is probably a better option than the traveling leagues where they're going to be gone all the time and they have like these long practices and they're just like, I hate my life.
yeah.
I do think at some point it's important to be like, look, you're either going to try a sport, you're going to try choir, band, you're going to try something.
Mhm.
Like, if you don't like it, you're not going to be forced to do it, but you are going to try.
Right.
I think so.
I think that's important too. It gets them out of their comfort zone, which I think we all need. And if you can start doing that with your kids while they're young, then that will help them, you know, in their life. Yes, making friends, just everything. I mean, you have so many kids now that all they want to do is sit inside on their damn game on the iPad.
Yeah.
You know, electronics has taken over our life. My sister sent me a little reel the other day. I was telling you guys about it, but it was showing like back in 1991, and it was right after Thanksgiving, you know, and their house was all decorated for Christmas, and the mom was in the kitchen cooking and the dad was doing something, I don't know. The kids were laying on the floor playing a board game, you know, together, and it was just saying, you know, how life was before electronics.
Mhm.
And I told her, I'm like, that made me really sad because I feel like life was better before electronics.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I think back like every Sunday, you know, Sunday was our big family day. We were home all day on Sunday. My parents never turned the TV on Sunday. It was like our family time. We didn't go play with friends, but me and my brother like played board games every Sunday. You know, we always had family dinner. We always went to church on Sunday. We had a big family dinner. My grandparents always came over. My mom always made like some type of homemade dessert, and we played. You know, we played games together. We interacted with each other, you know, but
We even did that though.
yeah.
Yeah, same.
And, you know, would rotate like which aunt or grandma or whoever we'd have dessert at their house. And
Yeah, it's definitely different now. Even like when we were on vacation, you know, there was a couple times I said to Brecklin and Nixon, get off your damn electronics. Like, we're not doing that. I've already decided, like, Sundays when we're all here, even adults, your phone is now going to sit in one spot.
The basket.
Like, we can have Sunday dinners without the damn phones, you know?
I think so too.
Well, and even Adam, you know, when we do our date nights together, we don't have our phones out. I told Adam, I'm like, don't even look at your watch, because he always wears his damn Apple Watch. And so, you know, if it vibrates, he'll do this. Yeah. And I'm like, you can't even do that. Don't even look at your watch, because that is still taking away.
Well, even when you go to restaurants and you see couples and they're sitting across from each other or sitting next to each other and they're just looking at their phone.
It's like that. Yeah.
They're not having a conversation. Like, there's been times where me and Jason will go out to a restaurant and like he'll have to answer one of his guys and I'm sitting there like just awkwardly and I'm like, oh, people probably think that poor girl, even though he's only on it for a couple seconds to get back to one of his guys. But even then, I'm like, I don't ever want to be that couple that people look at in a restaurant and they're like, wow, like they have a great marriage. They don't even talk to each other.
Well, I think people almost have forgotten how to communicate face to face now.
Yeah.
Because you don't do it anymore.
No.
It's a freaking, everything is a text, you know? And I really do. I think that now kids, they don't even know how to socialize. They're freaking awkward.
Yeah.
Well, and just keeping up with everybody else. Like, you get to see people's hauls now, what they got for back to school shopping, what they got for Christmas. Like, before it was like, you might know what your neighbors got because you maybe went out the next morning and showed each other your stuff. But like, you didn't typically know what your entire school got for Christmas or for their birthday. Like, that's a huge thing. And then it makes the other people who maybe don't get that kind of stuff feel butthurt or think that they need that just to fit in.
Yeah, it is a little distracting from real life and what truly matters in life.
Yeah.
You know, because even look how many stories you get wrapped up into from Instagram or TikTok of different people that you have no idea who they are, but you're so wrapped up in their shit because you've seen everything, you know, that they posted, where in the end, does that really even matter? Like,
No.
you know, it's crazy. It's definitely different. I prefer the 90s. Just saying.
When Christmas lights were still colorful.
Right. Yeah.
And you made like your paper chains to count down till Christmas.
It's funny because when the kids are like, when were you born? Brecklin and Nixon, I'm like 1974. And they're like, you were born in 1974? You were born then? Yup.
Well, even now, even if you were to tell people that, even if I was to be like, I was born in the 90s, people would be like, ugh.
Yeah.
So funny.
Me and Kate were talking about the Lindsay Clancy story last night.
I was listening to a podcast and somebody had, the podcast wasn't even about her, but they had sent in a question to the host and they were like, what do you think about this, you know, whole thing? And the host was saying, you know, I haven't really done any research on it, but what I do know from it, like, those doctors were at fault.
Oh, yeah.
They had her on like 10 different medications that like turned her into the psychosis.
Right.
Which is freaking horrible.
But I think even after that, like, I think even after the medications were prescribed, from what I know, I don't know if this is 100% correct, but she had still tried to get help even after that. Like, she had already been to BMed more than once. And like, I think that she had got checked out like a few days prior to the incident that happened.
Sad.
It's horrible.
And did she do it? Did she not do it? What are your guys' thoughts? I don't know enough about it to even have a thought.
I feel like, not based on specific like news outlets and news like facts, but just like what everyone else is saying, like, it's starting to kind of seem more not her fault.
Yeah.
Like, I think that when you're in such like that headspace, people think that postpartum depression and anxiety is the same as psychosis, and it's not the same. So anyways, just to put that out there. But people are saying that because she was in such a headspace, like it would have been possible for him to manipulate her into thinking that she did do that, even if she didn't.
So do you think he did it?
Yeah.
You think the husband did it?
Yeah.
The ex-husband?
Well, when they found her,
Me
her
too.
body temp was like 86 degrees. And did she jump out of the window?
Was it cold where she was?
I don't know. But either way,
I mean, they were still saying if she would have been out there that long, her body temperature wouldn't have been
that low.
Yeah.
And like supposedly the murder weapon was the exercise bands, but it had the entire family's fingerprints on it from being in their home. So you can't necessarily rule out him if his fingerprints are on it as well. I don't know. The whole thing. And he's already remarried to a fertility doctor. So, and everyone that talks about Lindsay says like she was an amazing mom, like she was a loving person, like she asked for help. It wasn't like she was like this awful person and that everyone was like, oh, I saw that coming from a mile away, you know?
Sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
I'm going to backpack off that a little because I had some thoughts since, we were talking about topics or whatever. And I guess, it goes with like, I guess kind of mental health, kind of not. And I know that we've touched on mental health like a gazillion times and those things, but it's something that's like, I don't know, heavy on my mind. So I think I might ramble too because I like to organize my thoughts and I haven't, but like we are pretty active. Like we have the gym in our garage and we work out every single day. And before we moved here, like we were going out with the kids to the track and playing soccer and playing basketball and walking and running and even like doing the stadiums, And I noticed like sometime like late May, that I was noticing the opposite of, the progress that I had been noticing started to go the other way, like even gaining weight and all of those things. And I know, now that it's not because I'm like sitting around eating donuts and McDonald's and watching TV all day, that it's like hormones and other things going on. But like even before we went on vacation, I like literally just sat in the closet and cried. And then like even on vacation, like, oh man, I didn't think I was gonna cry. Like so hard. And I don't know, I think maybe it's heavy because, it was Dad's birthday the other day. And so we had gone to the cemetery and, wrote notes and stuff. And, talked about, say whatever, but, part of it can be, a way that you'll honor him or whatever. And just thinking, no, I promise I'm going to live like presently, in every moment that I have here. Because it just like consumed my mind the whole time. And so then I think about mental health and like your worth is just not tied to like the hard things that you're going in life. Like I even think, and I know this is not mine to really share if you don't want to talk about, like we'll cut it out, but like I've even seen you like with your anxiety sometimes tell you things that like aren't true, and I can even see it, like the wheels turning in your head, when you get like that. And I'm just like, your worth is not tied to the hard things you're going through. It's not tied to a bad mental health month or year or, not being in the best shape of your life or feeling stuck and, trying to figure things out. Mm-hmm. Because I just don't know why we just like, lump them together so much, but
yeah.
Also at the same time, like you're the only person that has the power to change your circumstances or to ask for help or, take that next step or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I've even seen, mental health with other people, that we know and love, how it affects them. But it's also like, just be kind. You really don't know what people are going through, even if it may seem like it's nothing to somebody else. And if you have a gut feeling or you know, that instinct that maybe that person needs this talk, or maybe you should, you know, check in, like, just do it.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because anytime I have like a gut feeling to check in, or even if I see somebody, you know, a stranger, and you feel that they need some connection of some kind, what does it hurt to do it?
Right.
You know, I was watching a little thing this morning, and it was an older gentleman, well, older, my age older, and he was walking to his car, and you could tell it was a younger kid that was speaking, and he was the one videoing, and he said, "Hey, I just want you to know I love you." Or no, he said, "If you haven't been told this lately, I need you to know that I love you." And the guy's like, "What?" And kind of looked at him like, and he said, "You know, I love you, man." And the guy was like, he just put his hand up to his face, and he's like, "You don't know how much I needed to hear that. I just had the worst day of my entire life at work, you know." And anyway, I'm like, just something so simple. And it's so easy to do, and yet so many people choose to do the opposite.
Yeah.
You've seen the new trend where they ask their spouse or their boss or whatever it may be a question, and then they answer it, but then they edit over the video and they ask a totally different question.
Yeah, it's like, what would you do if an orphan showed up
Yes.
at your doorstep? Yes, I've seen that one.
Okay, so the girl asked her boss, it looked like they were probably in a dentist office, and she asked him, and it was that thing, what would you do if an orphan that had head lice came in here and wanted help, you know? And he was like, "I would drop an elbow on him. I would," like, all this stuff, you know? And she's kind of giggling, and she's a beautiful girl. She's so pretty, but she had like a birthmark right here on her head. I don't know if it was a birthmark or a mole around right here. And I was reading the comments just because they're always so funny.
Yeah.
And some asshole had been like, "I bet when you work on people's teeth that they just sit and stare at that thing on your head the whole time." And I was like, why would you ever comment something like that? Like, who are
Yes,
you?
we say horrible things.
But I don't understand it. What happened if you can't say something nice, keep your damn mouth shut? Like, what happened to that?
That's also the problem with social media, is that you have
There's no
all these keyboard warriors that can have no picture, no real name, and go on there and say whatever they want that they wouldn't in real life.
But that's the thing, is you don't know when somebody is at their breaking point.
Exactly.
Right.
And something so small
Well, that could be her biggest
trigger it.
insecurity. It's
Exactly.
something she thinks about every single time she gets ready. Like, I wish this wasn't there. I wish this wasn't there. How can I cover this up? And then some idiot that's the only thing that they comment on about, which isn't even about the video. It's not even about that, or not even about her.
Well, somebody like screenshotted his photo and put it under there because they were like, "Why would you say something like that?" You know, and then they posted him, and I was like, "Of course, you know, of course it came from you." But
Yeah.
we all have our faults. We all have things about our bodies that we don't like. We all have things about every part of us that we could nitpick and not like. And to have other people point that stuff out is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, wrong. I mean, I know that you struggle with the whole body thing, which I know where you got that. And I've always said, you know, I regret like being so nitpicky about my body when you were growing up, because I know I passed that on to you, and that's horrible. But I felt like you are more confident this time than I've seen you in a long time.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So you hid that very well,
I didn't think so.
because usually you're like, yeah, you're always like this, you know, and I felt like you were way more confident this time. So I had no idea that you were like struggling while you were there, which kind of makes me feel bad, because there's never a time that I look at you and I'm just not like, how did I create that beauty?
I don't have waterproof on.
It makes me sad.
Well, I think the the saying fake it till you make it really is. Like, I think people say that all the time, but it's like, it really is that way. Like, sometimes you just have to convince yourself that you are as amazing as you are, and whether that be like your body or whatever it is, you know, even like you said, like my anxiety stuff, like there's definitely days where I just have to tell myself, like, I'll have my back turned to Brixton while I'm making him lunch, and I'm like, you're gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, like Jason's gonna be home soon. And I feel like with him, I'll go from like feeling like this stressed, and then the second he walks in the door, it's like, oh, I can breathe again. Which he would probably laugh at me for saying that, but it's so true. Like, I just sometimes have to fake it until he walks in the door.
Well, even, you know, the night that you were struggling on vacation with Brixton, and, you know, you guys pulled me outside to talk to you, and, you know, you said you feel like you're a bad mom, which is not true. But like Caitlin said, that's that crap that sneaks up in your head that tells you things that are absolutely not true. You know, when you're feeling vulnerable and yucky, you know, that kind of shit sneaks up, and it's not the truth. Like, if you were a shitty mom, you would know it. I would let you know. I would let your husband know. I would be like, something's wrong here. I'm not okay with the... I mean, maybe that's overstepping bounds, but I don't care. And I think you're a wonderful mom, you know? So, yeah. Wow, we went from having nothing to talk about to pretty deep.
We usually do.
Yeah.
Last night, when I was getting ready for bed, every night, I think we've talked about this, every night when I'm getting ready for bed, Adam will say, babe, come on. Babe, come on. Are you coming to bed? Babe, come on. Like every 30 seconds.
Have you noticed?
Yes. And I came out last night and I'm like, do you want me to look like an old, wrinkled up, shriveled up hag of a wife? And he's like, he looked at me and he just started like cracking up. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, every night when I'm doing my skincare, you sit and hound me and hound me and hound me. I'm like,
you're chasing about him being on the damn toilet for 45
okay, well, that's different. I literally go in there. I use my stuff. I want to take care of myself. I don't want to look like I'm old.
Old.
Yeah, I'm like, you need to shut up.
I just tell Louise, the more you tell me to hurry up, the slower.
Because it bugs you.
Yeah, I agree. I have to tell something funny because it cracks me up. I told Kate and Flo about it last week. Brixton's been talking about monsters a lot lately. Like, he's terrified of his room. He will not go in there even during the daytime. Like, he's always...
Maybe you need to have, like, a monster exorcism in there or something.
He'll only play in there with other people. Like, he was fine with the other kids. They played in there,
weird.
like, most of the night. But, like, even if it's during the day, before you guys come over, I told them, I'm like, you need to go put your toys that are in the living room in your room. He's like, no, I'm scared. There's monsters in there. Like, he won't go in. So Jason, we went to go look at some lots. Okay, let me preface. This is not something you should say to your kid. He said, Daddy has a monster in his pants, and he's going to put it in Mommy. So Brixton started saying, Daddy has a monster in his
Jason
pants.
said that.
Yeah.
I thought you meant, geez, Jason, Bradley.
So Brixton started saying, Dad has a monster in his pants, and he's going to put it in Mommy.
Oh my.
I was like, stop saying stupid shit like that. Because the thing is, he didn't really say it like directly to Brixton. He kind of like, not really whispered it, but he didn't say it loud in the car, but Brixton heard it.
Brixton hears everything.
His ears work only when listening to things he's not supposed to.
That's how all kids are.
And then he like wouldn't stop saying it. And I'm like, he's going to go to school and say that. Or the park, or wherever else. Like, so thanks, babe, for letting our kid know that you have a monster in your pants.
So as Caitlin had mentioned, it was their dad's birthday on the 7th. Yesterday? Day before.
Day before.
So while we were on vacation, the day we left on vacation, it was the 23rd anniversary of his death. And as we were going through the gorge, so anytime he would go through the gorge, which he went through there a lot, he always used to spot the bighorn sheep in there. Always. And I could never, ever, ever, I still have never seen one. And he was so good about spotting them. So as we were going through the gorge, Karsten calls, and he was in the car with Braxton and Braxton's girlfriend. And he's like, I saw the biggest bighorn sheep, just barely. And I was like, well, that was a sign from Dad today. So on his birthday, like Kate said, you know, we went to the cemetery, and the night before, I had sent the girls a post about a girl whose husband had died the year before, and he was in a hotel room when he died. And it was the year anniversary, and she was going to the town where he died. And the night before, you know, the weeks leading up to it, whatever, for how long, she had just begged to have a sign from him, So as she was passing this hotel that he had passed away in, she said she didn't want to look at the hotel, so she turned her head the opposite direction as she was driving by it. And there was a billboard sign that said, "This is your sign. Tell her you love her." And she said, I knew that was my sign from him. So, you know, if you've ever read the books, you know, that talk about, you know, signs from people who've passed away, whatever, they tell you to be very specific when you're asking for a sign. And I told the girls, I said, I think that we all really need to, you know, ask for a sign tomorrow at the cemetery while we're all there together. So that night and all the next day, you know, I was thinking about it. I was talking to Brad a lot, you know, in my thoughts out loud in the shower, whatever it may be. And, you know, my brother, that was his best friend, has also passed away. And my nephew, who used to hunt and fish with them as well, passed away. And then Brad's brother, which is the kids' uncle, just passed away a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. Wow. And I know they're all doing crazy shit up there together. Like, there's no doubt, you know. And I had mentioned that. I'm like, I know, you know, you're probably out there doing some crazy adventure with the 3 other crazies up there. And I had specifically asked for him to send dragonflies to the cemetery. So when we all got to the cemetery, I noticed them instantly. They were
huge.
I told Grandma, I'm like, they were the biggest dragonflies I have ever seen. Yeah. They were huge, and they stayed with us the entire time we were there.
There's 4.
And there was 4 of them. And I thought that was so cool, you know, and people can think whatever they want. They can have their own opinions. I believe that there's an afterlife. I believe that the people that we love who have passed away are always watching over us, and that they can give us sign. I don't believe that. I know that for a freaking fact. Like, yeah, if you don't want to think that, that's fine. But I know for a fact that is true. I've witnessed it way too many times. And it was just so cool. You know, I told the kids that, you know, that we had talked about it, and that my specific sign, you know, I had asked specifically for him to send dragonflies. So anyway, I just thought that was really cool. You know, you could definitely feel presence there, and it was just cool.
It was a good day.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's all we got, besides Mindy's going to give us our tip of the week.
Oh.
She wasn't ready for that one.
I guess I'll just take on from what we did last week that we didn't post. Spend some quality time with the people that you love. You don't know what tomorrow brings or how much time you have. So enjoy the time that you do have, and make sure that you remember to love and laugh and enjoy the people that you care about, and let them know that you care about them.
Take family trips.
Yes. Do fun things. You don't even have to go somewhere far, you know. No. If you don't have the money to take a family vacation, plan something at home. It's just the quality time that matters. It doesn't matter where you are, you know. We're blessed that Adam works his ass off so we can go do that kind of stuff, you know, but you don't have to go somewhere other than your home to have that time. So make the time.
Literally my favorite part of all of it is, and I think I told you, like being able to like sit there at night, just sit together and just
I'm
talk
just
to
so
each other.
excited. I'm like, oh, we get to sit and talk.
Just to be around each other and do nothing.
Yeah, I loved that part.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, thank you for joining us on this week's episode of She Who Thrives. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. We'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode. But until then, remember, no matter what you're doing, do it to the best of your ability and always strive to thrive.